drive the P-Row. I'm too good for that. I command it from the back of the vessel. It's the only way I roll. I have to. I'm a leader. I'm not a follower. From Baton Rouge, born and raised, one of 4 children. I got 2 older brothers and a little sister. My oldest brother, all right, this guy is a principal for a special ed school. Cultivates the youth of tomorrow. My middle brother, he's a doctor. He works in emergency pediatrics. He saves children's lives. I just turned 30. I have some college. And I manage a smoke shop in Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Woo.
Prime time, baby. And my little sister, who, she doesn't really do much, but it doesn't matter what she does, because in the eyes of my father, she can do no wrong. She can stab this dude right in the chest, pull the knife out, and just be like, I hate you, Father. And he'd just be like, I love you, daughter. Margaret, I love you forever. Thank you. Thank you for giving me this gift of death. It's unbelievable. And the one thing I got going for me is at some college that I have, I learned a lot about computers. I learned a lot. I learned how to farm really well in Warcraft. It was really good. Had that going for me. And one day my dad gives me a call and he asked me to come over to the house because he just got the new iPhone and he needs help on how to figure it out. And I was just like, okay, Father, no problem. I'll come out there. I'll give you a hand. No big deal. So I drive out there, get to his house. We're all sitting there hanging out. We're out on the back porch. There's the families everywhere. Everybody's having a good time. Dad walks over, he hands me a beer, sets it down on the table. We're having a good conversation. I'm like, all right, Pops, well, tell me about this phone. Let me see your phone. Show me. And he's like, okay. He pulls his phone out, takes a look at it, and he immediately sets it face down. And I didn't really think anything of it, and nothing really prepares you for the situations that happen in life or the decisions that people make. But at this moment in time, my dad, not realizing that when you set a phone down, it's not like in 1985. It doesn't hang the phone up. It doesn't stop whatever is happening on the phone. And the loudest porn you have ever heard in your entire life begins to blare through this phone. Fuck my ass. Fuck my ass. Fuck my ass. Ah! Ah! And time fucking stopped. It stopped. There's a few moments in life where you have those crystallizing, where you can just see everything happening in front of you and you know what's going on. I looked as all of my little nieces and nephews are running around and they're looking at their parents like, what is this concept of fucking my ass? This is new. I'm 5. I'm ready for stuff like this. And I look at my stepmom as she's pouring my dad a drink and she's realizing that she hates my father. I see it in her eyes. And my dad, see, one thing you don't know about my dad's been married 5 times. And my older brothers are from his first marriage, me and my sister are from his 4th marriage, and then we're at number 5. And like a pro who's lied for 5 marriages. This dude, he looks straight, just straightforward, never, no twitch, no tell, and he just picked up his phone, and this is a joke email. This is one of those joke emails. I get them all the time at work. It's one of the guys at work. They think it's funny. You know how the guys at work are, Jennifer. You know how it is. And my stepmom looks at me, and my dad is sitting down with his back turned to her, so she doesn't see the face that my dad gives me. So as she looks at me for technical confirmation, my dad, he just looks, he just staring into my soul, staring into my DNA. And I just knew right then and there I had this thought, and I was just like, oh my God, dads are just old bros. And bro code dictates that if a bro is in distress, you have to help him out. So like the son of a man who's lied for 5 of his marriages, this line ingrained into my DNA, I looked straight at my stepmom and I was like, yep, joke emails. We get them all the time. It's a virus, takes over your email, controls your sound card, you know. It's not what you can do about it. It's just one of those things. And she lets out a sigh of relief. She's like, oh my God, my husband is not a pervert. He's not this horrible person. And she walks off. And my dad looks at me and he gives me a little fist bump. And I knew right there that I have solidified my position as the undisputed #1 son of the Wright family. Fuck you, Mike. You teach children? Fuck you, Mark. You save lives? I saved my dad's marriage. That dude is 70 years old. He's not getting married again. The only thing he's getting married to is the dirt. He's gone. He's done. It's over. He got no more left for him. He don't have money. But he's got a son who will back his ass up when shit gets dark. I got a lot of interesting family members. I mean, we've heard about my dad, we've heard about me, my brothers, my sister, but the cream of the crop, and everyone knows that the cream always rises to the top. Yeah. My grandmother, Margaret Isabel Downs. This woman was a champion amongst champions. Greatest mother ever. Had 8 kids, raised them pretty much on her own. This woman was a monster. She could not be handled. Fastest hands in Baton Rouge. This bitch was bad. And after she passed away, my mom had asked me, because she's the youngest of the 8, and she was just like, son, would you please go to the storage unit that we have with all of your grandmother's things? And would you go and start clearing those out so that we can go ahead and give them to everybody? And I was like, Mom, you can count on me. I'm your son, and I got this. So then I got ready, and I realized, oh God, it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I gotta smoke a joint. Because any real pothead knows that it doesn't have to be 420. You just need to be awake, and weed needs to be present. Allegedly. Just in case there's any narcs in here. You gotta tell me if you're a cop. And so after I smoked that joint, I get a phone call about 2.5 weeks later. Son, have you taken care of that for me? And like the son of a man who's lied for 5 of his marriages, I talked to my mom over the phone and I said, yes, mother. Fruit, I am the fruit of your loins. You brought me into this world. Of course I've taken care of this task for you. I told you you could count on me. And so in panic-stricken, I decided, oh shit, I gotta get over there. The month is almost over. So I get all my shit together, I grab my keys, and I realize, oh shit, I had that joint roll right there. Let me take care of this real quick. And then a month later, I get a knock at the door. I didn't think anything of it. It was just a normal day. I walk over to the door, and my little sister's standing there, and she's got the phone, and she's holding it out. And she's like, here you go, thank you. And I answer the phone, it's my mother. And she's just like, son, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's been over a month, my card just got charged for this fucking storage unit. And I was like, Mom, look, you live far away, I just need you to know, I just need you to trust me. And I just, like I said before, like a man, from the man who's lied for 5 marriages, I just can't bring this home enough. It's ingrained into me. I'm a pro at this. I just tell her everything is for your best interest. Everything that I'm doing is for the betterment of you. I want you to trust me that I've got things under control. And I just hang the phone up. My mom's a scary woman. Luckily, she lives in Texas. So when I finally get over to the storage unit, and we're not going to go into how long it actually took for me to get to that storage unit.
6 months?
Roughly. That's my uncle, he knows. And I get there, and we open the storage unit up, and it's just filled with all of this stuff. Memories from all over the years, like all toys and bullshit and magazines and an old mattress that smelled like fucking farts and oppression. And as we move all this junk out the way, we see a big ass store, like freezer, one of the big deep freezers. We all live here in Louisiana. We've seen a fucking deep freezer before. But this one was different. It had one defining quality that other deep freezers that I've seen in my life. It had giant fucking chains wrapped around it. And like, these chains were like 20 pounds a chain. It was wrapped. And I started to freak out because I was just like, who the fuck locks something in a fucking, like, in a fucking ice, what? Oh, I started to freak out. I was like, I've never known my grandfather before. Did my grandmother hack up my grandfather and toss his ass in this deep freezer? Is this CSI Baton Rouge? Who's gonna play me? These are all the things that swam through my head as I was standing there looking at this deep freezer. And I mean, let's be honest, it'd probably be Zach Galifianakis. I mean, look at me. He'd have to gain a little bit more weight, but I mean, I'd rather it be somebody better. Like maybe Jack Black. But he's not really better. I don't know. I'm getting off topic. But, so I finally, after panicking for a good 20 minutes, I finally get up the courage. I'm going to take these locks off of here. I'm going to take this chain. I strip it all away to ready to unveil these secrets. What are these skeletons in my grandmother's closet? So I open it and I jump back. Some moths fly everywhere. How the fuck did moths get in there? That thing's been sealed. I don't know. Like, these are all questions, so you have to find the answers. And I see hundreds of National Geographic magazines. Like, what a fucking disappointment. And I just start rummaging through there. I come across a box with my grandpa's name on it. A bunch of porno mags from 1960s. I kept them. Only the ones you could flip through, the other one. Then I see this little box with a lock on it. Like, it was just a little lock box. Did you see a little jewelry box? And I was like, oh, this is cool. Let me check this out. And I dust it off, open it up. And the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life, the thing that makes me so proud to be the grandson of this woman, it's a plaque. And on this plaque, it says Margaret Downs, greatest streaker of 1984 through, 1971 through 1984. I almost said it backwards. I'm pretty high, allegedly. And and it blew my mind because at this time my grandmother was in her 40s and she weighed like 250 pounds and she had 8 kids. Like, I saw this woman one time try to break up 2 dogs fighting in our front yard. And she fell, she went to swing a broom backwards and she was so heavy that she fell backwards and her ass was stuck in the air. And we all could just laugh. And she's like, you motherfuckers, get me out the fucking ground. Because that was my sweet grandmother. Like, she used to tell me when I was a kid, like, I'd be eating dinner over there. She'd be like, I'd be like, all right, my mom, I'm gonna head home. And she'd be like, all right, go tell your mama I said kiss my ass. I said, to suck my dick. And they thought it was funny. They thought it was hilarious. Until you hit about 7 or 8. And when you tell them to go fuck themselves, they get upset about it. And but my beautiful grandmother, this woman with such a vibrant vocabulary, full of adjectives, expletives. This woman was a great woman. She was a champion streaker. And when you start to think about stuff like that, and you start to realize, you're just like, you know, I don't have to be like an astronaut. I don't have to be the president. I just need to be the champion at whatever I apply myself to. My grandmother decided at 45 years old, with 8 kids, she was going to flop her saggy titties across Baton Rouge to be the champion streaker for 9 years running. So I was like, you know what? We're going to take that shit to prime time every time. We're going to go and we're going to take everything down every time. We're going to take it to the top. I used to work for Raising Cane's. You guys know those delicious ass chicken fingers? They're so good. That's why I'm fat. I worked there for 6 years. I was a manager. And every year they used to have these store competitions, like who could squeeze the most lemonade, who could do this other bullshit, and I would never compete until they decided one year, they were like, we're going to have tug of war. between the different stores, and the competitive nature in me, the champion in me, in my blood, started to burn, and I was like, I have to be a part of this. And my boss, he saw that fire and that passion, and he looked at me and he said, I want you to build the team. And little did he know that this would be the worst decision he would ever make in his entire career as a GM for Raising Cane's. And I looked at that man with confidence and I said, this is the best damn decision you've ever fucking made. And I got smart about it. I started recruiting. I started going to the high schools, talking to the seniors, the football players. I was like, man, how much you bench? Right on. You want to make some chicken fingers, bro? We got a tug of war competition going on. You know, I mean, we allegedly have dealings after school. You could get a discount if you know what I mean. I was a drug dealer. And so I got about 5 big ass dudes to join the crew. We got them hired on 2 days before the event. They hadn't even started yet. But as long as they're on that fucking payroll, they're ready to pull that rope. We get them there, and we get ready for the competition, and this is the first match of the night. This sets the stage for the entire night. I walk over to that rope, and I look over, and there's this little blonde girl, about 115 pounds. So cute, eyes blue and full of hope. And something came over me, and like Ivan Drago, I just looked upon her, and I felt that I must break her. I'm 26 years old and I work at Raising Cane's. This girl, how old are you? Oh, I'm 18 years old. I just start to breathe heavy. I put on my Pirate's eye patch. I have my cut-off camo jacket, and like, believe me, people, this is real. You can go to my Facebook, Morgan is always right, and you can see these fucking pictures. And I stand there and I grab the rope, and I hear him. He starts to count. He's 1. I start to transform. She says 2. And as I look, that little girl does this. She looks at me, she challenges me. And this wave went over my body. And I changed and I let the beast out. And I roared. Ah! And as I used all of the rage of my life, I was a fat kid growing up. Everybody's been laughing at me. You're a pretty girl. You laughed at me too, bitch. You laughed. And I pulled them. And I pulled with all of my strength. And we ripped those motherfuckers into the dirt. There was a mud pit the first year. They realized really early on that was a bad idea. And as they're all standing there in the mud, I walk over to the edge and I feel a tinge of pity in my heart. And I decide to extend my hand. And she looks up at me with those beautiful blue eyes, full of hope and wonder. And I let her go. And as she falls back into the mud, and I see that all of the hope that she had in her heart, all the trust that she had in random people every day, all of it, it just leaves her body as she hits that mud. And I look at her, and I give her a lesson on how life really works, and I raise my arms into the air, and I look at her and I say, only winners walk on the grass, bitch. And I turn around and walk away. That really happened. It really happened. They talk about it to this day, 6 years later. They're like, guys, we don't have tug of war because of that guy. And there's my picture on the wall. Don't let him into Raising Cane's. I mean, I take anything to the limit. Like, I've been taking a lot of mushrooms lately. And the last time I took some mushrooms, I made the mistake of allowing the YouTube autoplay to control my night. And when it started with like awesome like Egyptian sounds and everything, cool little ring-a-ding-dings and shit like that, it started telling me shit about the fucking Illuminati. And you're not prepared for stuff like that when you're fucked up. Like when you're tripping, you are not prepared for aliens and first contact. That's not the shit you want to fucking talk about. You want to see flowers and spinny colors. Listen to the Beatles. Fuck. I came across this one image. It was a video from Carl Sagan's Cosmos, and it was called The Pale Blue Dot. Yes. And what they tell you is it's these two satellites, these space satellites called Voyager 1 and 2, and they were sent off back in like the fucking 70s. And they're far as fuck out there. They're past Pluto now, like seeing all kinds of shit. Shit I'm not prepared for. And this one picture is from when it was next to Jupiter. Now, I mean, I didn't know this shit going into it. I had to do research the next day so that I could fucking get my shit straight. I was freaking out. I started looking at this, and you can hear Carl Sagan, and you know that dude's smoking a joint the entire time that he's saying this. And he's you can hear it. This is the Earth. 6 billion people, 150 billion species, coalescing, spinning, living together, religions, gods, devils, all on this one tiny little dot. Okay, I got this. I started to really panic. I mean, a dot? Earth? Space? Oh, God. I started pacing around the house. My roommates, they were getting a little freaked out. They were like, dude, are you all right, man? Are you okay? And I was like, dude, don't fucking talk to me, man. You don't fucking get it. You don't understand. I get really, like, they start to freak out everybody, they start to give me a wide girth in the house. They're just like, fuck, this is going to be one of those moments. This dude's going to lose his shit. My phone rings. It's my mom. I didn't answer the phone because I felt like she needed to know that I was okay. But I felt like I had to answer it so that when I told her that I was okay, I would believe it. You guys know what that's about? You ever felt that before? You just have to tell someone else you're okay so that you just know that you're okay when you're not. And I answered the phone and she's like, baby, hey, how's it going? I was like, Mom. And she's like, baby. And I was like, Mom, listen. And she's like, how are you okay? You sound distraught. I was like, shut the fuck up, Mom! Do you know how small the Earth is? Do you have any idea how insignificant we are? Fuck! And I hang the phone up. I couldn't explain it to her. She wasn't ready. She obviously wasn't awakened enough. I learned that real quick. But I also learned that you're not really supposed to mix hallucinogens together. Like, it's okay to kind of dabble every now and then, but you don't want to get too crazy. Like my friend Kenny Leggett. I'm going to tell you the ballad of Kenny Leggett tonight to finish this up. Oh, Kenny Leggett, this guy was your normal, everyday guy, you know. He worked, had a kid, had good things going on in his life, made good decisions, except for this one Friday. He decided, you know what? We're sitting here, we're smoking DMT. We're fucking tripping balls, we're having a good time, we're just regular people. Let's take some mushrooms, and then let's finish it off by taking a couple of hits of LSD. A triple threat, right? Hit the student for a hat trick. And about halfway through the night, around 4 hours into the night, we realized shit was kind of a little weird. He let the ferrets out for first thing. We had, like, over at the place we lived in, we had 4 ferrets, and he let them out, and they were going crazy, ate shit all over the fucking house. And if you have ferrets, you just know that's what they do. They find corners, they shit in it. And we're trying to wrangle the ferrets up, and he picks up one of the ferrets, and he just puts it in his mouth. And he doesn't bite down on it. He just puts the ferret head in his mouth. Ferret freaks out and like jumps out of his hands. I was like, dude, are you fucking okay? And he's like, don't worry about it. And he gets up and he walks into the living room. About 15 minutes go by and we're like, what the fuck's going on? Like, I'm so fucked up. I'm trying to like find out where this dude is. I walk into the living room and I freak out because this dude is sitting there and he's got his pants off and his boxers. And he's sitting on my couch. And he's got his dick out, and he's not holding it, he's just pissing everywhere, all over the place. And I was like, Kenny, what the fuck, man? Get the fuck out! What are you fucking doing? Oh my fucking God! There's piss everywhere! What fuck? Like, and so he he's like, he gets mad at us because we interrupted his piss session. And he storms outside. And my buddy Ricky realizes that while we're trying to like clean up this fucking terrible mess, he's like, we shouldn't leave Kenny alone. People will call the cops. And I was like, yeah, you're right. He didn't put his pants on. So when I run outside, I open the door and I look down out in our yard and there's this puddle of water and all you see is a pale white ass. And he's just sipping water out of a dirty fucking puddle. This is a public announcement, people. Do not mix your hallucinogens. Unless you want to get this fucked up. Then do it. I'm not your mama or your daddy. I could be. How old are you? That was a bad joke. And so I try to catch him. I grab his shirt, the one veil that keeps the rest of Kenny from freeing to the world. And it rips the shirt, and he's wearing a button-up shirt, and it frees. And all I see is a bare ass skipping through the woods next to the house. It's just like one lot of woods, and all I hear is 420, 420, 420, and he just screams as he runs into the neighborhood. Oh man, I'm totally losing my trip by this point. I don't even know what to think. There's so many colors. Everything's fucking pastel. I saw a white ass. Like, you're not prepared for shit like this, guys. Like, so as we follow this dude, as we go, and we rush out there to go see him, all I see is Kenny standing in the yard, and then I hear, "Oh Lord Jesus!" And I look over, and there's this old lady going to check her mail. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning. She walks over to check her mail, and she sees this 20-year-old white ginger, about 200 pounds. And he's standing there with a giant raging boner looking directly at her with his finger up his ass. And he holds out his hand and he says, "Together, we could save the world." The Ballad of Kenny Leggett. He was a wonderful person, Kenny Leggett. He made a lot of decisions. Some of them were for the good, some of them were for the bad. But in the end, he was a human. Like so many of us. I've seen aliens. I've taken mushrooms, I've gone on journeys, I've had crazy family members, I've almost gotten eaten by 2 alligators. I don't want to get eaten alive. I can't stress that enough. I don't know if it's the pot that I smoked before I got here, if it was the brownies I ate before I left the house, but I really just don't want to get eaten alive. But I think that's about it, guys. I don't think I have really much else to say tonight, except don't mix your hallucinogens. Try to stay in school, but if you don't, you could always become a stand-up comedian. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Morgan Wright. Thank you so much for coming out here. Give it up for all of your comedians. Thank you guys. Y'all braved the weather. Coming up here, Connor, or Maggie, whoever it is. I love you guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
And that was your headliner, Morgan Wright.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where'd the group go that literally just walked in?
Right here.
Hey!
We tried.
You came in for boners. That was amazing timing. Just like the biggest hallucinogenic boner. That was really beautiful timing. I'm so glad that you guys, just incredible. I know y'all all paid, but if you would also like to dig into your wallets and your hearts, there's a tip jar for your headliner. We do this show every week. Follow us on Facebook if you don't. Tip your bartender regardless. And don't mix your hallucinogens. Yay! And give yourselves a round of applause. You're fantastic.